Welcome, boyos. What are we on here? Episode 7. I should almost call them like seasons. Season 1, Episode 1. Season 1, Episode 2. You get the thing here. Yeah. How's everybody doing? The nice chill Tuesday morning. You all know the spiel. If you like what you see, like, subscribe. Anyways. Yeah, it's all about, if we want to spread the message far and wide, get some people into this material, make themselves more red-pilled in the ways that matter. I'm not going to try and sell you on a Lamborghini and $1 million where you're going to end up loveless by yourself. At this point, you're in a relationship, and it's time to work on these things. Build yourself up. Make yourself as good as you can be, but not just this leveling up nonsense platitude. Specifically focused ideas here of where we need to go and why we need to go there. Welcome all, and we are on the tips and tricks chapter. If you guys don't know, it's kind of a bit of a meme that everybody always wants cheat codes. Cheat codes, tips, tricks, not willing to put in any amount of work. Well, we've been talking about putting in the work for about 12 episodes now. So now we're going to talk about tips and tricks. Why this is important is because you may not know this, but a lot of what you're learning here, as far as the strategies and the mental models, they're situationally good and situationally bad, depending on what your end goal is. A skill that you need to learn in the modern sexual marketplace when you're dating, when you're single, when you're married, when you're widowed, any situation you can think of, is the ability to almost A/B test your life to see what works and what doesn't. I'm sure you guys have heard the meme that this is a locker room. It's a tool chest. It's strategies. See what works. See what doesn't. Take it for what it's worth. And I'm here to amplify that. Let me pull up the notes we got so far and we'll get started. Well, sometimes PUA stuff. It's like I said, way back in episode 1, we've seen where mystery influenced some of the stuff that we're learning here. And it's amazing how it still applies even afterwards into a relationship. Man, that's some yellow. There we go. Something a little bit nicer. The first part here. So I want you guys in the chat, pay attention. In the comments, let me know down below. We're going to talk about a couple dozen different behaviors a guy can use when he's working on his map to help build sexual attraction with himself and his wife. You know the deal. Note to yourself, is this an alpha behavior he's talking about, or is this a beta behavior? And you're going to be able to see, okay, so why would I want to do one versus the other? What is it I'm missing in a relationship that I'm losing attraction to? Or what skills do I need to have so when I move on, I don't make the same mistakes with the next girl? It starts with kissing makes her horny. Kissing, a vital relationship skill. It's sensual, it's comforting, it's caring, it's love, and the gateway to lust. Male saliva also contains testosterone that her body absorbs, and it makes her horny. If you notice that, almost everything we secrete from ourselves that the girl absorbs has a little bit of testosterone in it. So the more frequently a girl can smash with her partner, the happier she gets. It's just one of those things. It's a nice mood suppressor, so it kind of tones down the ant flow hormones. You know what I'm saying? So take the time to kiss her, if only for your own self-interest. Yeah, sometimes, even if you can't stand the chick, keep throwing the kisses in there, because you're going to start seeing behavior changes. You're going to practice on your own skill set. And even if you can't wait to get rid of her, at least then for the next girl, you know, if I can make this work with a girl that I can't stand, there's no way in hell you can't work it on a girl that you know what you're doing it with. The first technique he talks about is the 10-second kiss. Now, it's a good story. I'd suggest you guys give it a read. That's not what I'm so much focused on here. The 10-second kiss is a nice litmus test on whether a guy gets it or a guy doesn't get it. 10 seconds. The idea is you sit there and you kiss a girl and you hold it. You hold it for 10 seconds. Now, every girl is going to react to this somewhat differently. Some girls will love it and kind of melt into your arms. Some girls won't like it. Turns out my girl actually wasn't a fan of it. She found it was awkward after the first 3. Maybe it's an ADD thing. Maybe it's just my kissing sucks. Who knows? But that's the thing. You would see a lot of guys reporting, I tried it and it didn't work. So what do I do now? And they're just clueless. That's the thing. You hold the kiss, 10 seconds. And he says in here, if she breaks it off early, lightly tell her off. That wasn't 10 seconds. Come back here and do it right. Sometimes you can just do it to test your ability to get her to comply with your commands. Again, that's, well, I don't want to tell you if that's alpha or beta, so I'll let you figure that out for yourself. Does she stay in for the kiss? Does she comply with demands for her to get back if she pulls away early? All these little things you can kind of test out, and it's such a low investment activity that there's essentially no consequence for screwing it up. Worst case scenario, you had a kiss, it was awkward. Maybe it's a test of your aloofness. Can you laugh it off if you had some awkward 10-second kiss with your girl? Or are you going to get butthurt about it if she pulls away? Are you going to make her comply to come back in? Are you able to even be a good enough kisser? But that's the point. There's so much information you can grab from this that there's no reason not to do it as a strategy to kind of gauge where you are. And again, this is vitally important, not just because you want to win back your wife or win back your girlfriend or any of that nonsense, which some guys do. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. The point is you're learning to observe and use what I call an OODA loop, or an observe, orient, decide, and act, as opposed to just letting life happen to you. You're actually taking, and this is probably the most masculine thing you can say, where you're affecting the world around you as opposed to letting it affect you at its whims. Second part here, he talks about locking her in kiss. And he goes, after you have the 10-second kiss down pat, and again, not down pat, but you've kind of run your things, there's another thing to try. When you kiss, if she has jeans with pockets, slide your hand into one or two of them and pull her in. Basically kind of like, wrap around her waist. Any way to kind of keep her there and not have her be able to pull away if she wants to. Again, is that a dominance play? Is that a compliance test? Let me know in the chat if you think it's more of an alpha behavior or a beta behavior. There's a bunch of different ways you can go with this. There's always the feral limbic brain kind of compliance stuff, where hand on the neck. Again, you've seen this already when cats and dogs, you put a hand on the scruff of their neck and they kind of get very docile and compliant because it taps into that, childhood memory of that's how parents carried them around. Humans are the same way. Putting your hand on the back of a girl's neck like that in a soft, loving way, while it is soft and it is loving, still has that little bit of like animal intensity to it. And it's a powerful symbol. Small of the back is another one. That's almost like guiding a girl through a crowd, a bit of a leadership thing. Again, let me know in the comments. Do you think that's an alpha behavior or a beta behavior? He adds here another kissing moves to tell her put her arms around your neck, or even placing them there yourself. It's telling her what to do. Makes her girls lift up and rub against your chest better. Personally, I like that feeling. I have since become a boob man in my later years, so I can wholeheartedly agree to that. How to make her stop talking. I'm going to skip this chapter. I didn't find utility out of it. I would suggest you read it yourself. It's 17, Tac 4. For me, I actually like this. And what I would do is if my girl's talking and I don't want to hear it and I don't want to talk about it, I just go in and kiss her to cut her off. I pull back after a second. She tries to talk again. Go in and kiss her again. And it becomes a game where every time she opens her mouth, I just kiss her to shut her up. I don't know if I came up with it or learned it here, but I do remember when I was in college, there was this nerdy girl that used to follow me and my friends group around. Didn't really like her. She wasn't the hottest girl ever. But at the bar, at one point, we had like this alone time and she was acting all awkward and mumbling and babbling and all this stuff. And I thought, I'm just going to kiss her to shut her up. I don't know why I did it. I was too young to know any better. And I accidentally discovered probably one of the more awesome things I ever did. She kind of melted in my arms, which, just goes to show she didn't have the best judgment, because 19-year-old me was not the best choice. But whatever. Can't judge her for it. Made her day, that fateful day back when the bar still had black lights, before college kids knew how to not use powder detergent and get all kinds of speckles on them, but whatever. Yeah. He kind of says here, close the distance between you, pull her in, and then kiss her intensely until she loses her entire train of thought. Maybe this works for you. I've just never seen to the point where you can kiss and have it be so powerful that the girl forgot what she was going to say. So just have some fun with it. But then again, I'm a bit of a closet ass. So part of me is like, yeah, I just did that because I didn't want to hear you talk no more. Big smile on my face. Because it's true, but I'm not malicious about it. And that's that, crap eating grin. He mentions in here the cleavage pull. That's the one where you grab a girl by like the V-neck or the bra, put limb in for a kiss too. Again, do not do this with strangers. I can't believe I have to add this don't eat paint warning to it. And if you do this, I don't want to hear some news story coming out of the Guardian saying, you know, former pickup artist told guy to grab a girl's breast and pull her in or some nonsense like that. You're on your own. I'm telling you right now. I will not be responsible for you adding too much autism to this. Next one, kiss her neck. So one of the weak spots in the human body is the neck. If somebody has you by the throat, it's immediately bad. Likewise, a blow to the back of your exposed neck is life-threatening. I will say this. It was the weirdest thing growing up. This is aside from relationships, but my stepdad, he was a fairly violent guy. And I don't want to get too much into it. I know at 18, he was one of those, you're not an old man until you fight or you're not a man until you fight your old man kind of guys. So I'm a man. Anyway, I remember his go-to move was to just grab you by the scruff of the neck. And I remember as a kid, that was always something that was just terrifying. So like, I get it. And I'm surprised more men haven't been grabbed by the neck before, because it really does calm your need to start posting nonsense on Twitter. I think we need to have some kind of app that gives you the same feeling of somebody's hand around your neck, so you learn to temper your passions. So reaching out and touching somebody's neck is a potent statement. Nuzzling it, kissing it, also a potent statement. Sometimes a little bit of tingle from it can be a good thing. So he's suggesting it. And again, it's up to you. And tell me in the chat what you think. Do you think that's an alpha move or a beta move? Coming in there, nuzzling, kissing a girl's neck, putting your hands there, grabbing her by the back of the neck while you kiss during sex, maybe putting a hand there as like a hold her down thing, maybe a little choking. All this stuff. And again, it's totally experiment. I will say this, again, I hate the don't eat paint warnings, but I have a feeling somebody's going to screw this up. When it comes to anything around the neck, stay away from the breathing tube. Stay away from this part, because that doesn't take much pressure, and it's not just painful, it's like deathly painful. Focus on the meat. But gentle touches tend to go. Just knowing that you could, sometimes it's good enough. So that's something to think about there. Just one of those things. I do it on occasion myself. When I go to kiss my girl, sometimes when I get going for a hug, sometimes I just want to say hi to you. Just put your hand there, just so you know, just so she knows you could. I could, but I like you too much. Go in for a kiss. As to the effect it has, it's one of those things. It's not so much that you can point to this going, this got me 30% more alpha and 10% more sex per annum. You're not going to be able to autistically break it down to numbers. The idea is you're setting up patterns of behavior that establish you as a desirable man and a comfortable man. Something that's really good for a girl to start fighting to keep a relationship strong. Because again, your job is not to fix or foster or nurture the relationship. That's a girl's job. Girls want commitment. Guys don't want commitment. Guys generally want either a family, in which case you kind of need a girl for it, and so commitment kind of comes with that, or guys want to focus on something other than smashing, and so getting a girl around you for regular smashing is a good way to set that aside and focus on bigger things. Oh, Marty. You silly man, you. Yeah, so it's a potent statement. Just go with it. Try things out. Experiment with them. See how it goes. Anyways, and he ends with this. Anyways, neck kissing. Maybe some ladies out there will discover that they are more wired for submission than they first thought. And again, it's all of these little things. Like, I know you've heard it on streams a lot of the time where Rolo and I were say, well, how do you think you're going to game your wife for like 20 years? He's like, I'm not gaming my wife. I am the game. And this is kind of what he's talking about here. General behaviors, they're just instincts. You're just practicing them until they're like second nature. Like I couldn't think of not doing a reach in kiss. Couldn't think of putting my hand on her neck when I give a kiss sometimes. Patting her on the butt, pulling her in by a back pocket. All these things are just naturally the way I do it now. So you're essentially training the autism out of your body by faking what it's like to be a naturally attractive guy, at which point, if you're doing it instinctually, it's pretty much natural, even though you had to learn it in a stupid book and on a stupid podcast. So if anybody gives you grief over that, you learn that on that guy's YouTube channel. You can just say, hey, get bent. Put your hand on her neck. They'll back off from that argument real quick. He has a next section here on other places you can kiss. I like monetization. I need to earn a living. I got to put food on the table, so I'm not going to get into it. Next bit, just bust a move. And this one, I think it's important to understand because so many emails or questions or DMs or any question a guy generally gives me or Rolo or anybody in this space, Troy, Rich, it's all kind of fits within this format, so it's good to know. So upon occasion, guys are just incredibly clueless about a woman being invested in them. I'm not really a dating writer, but I got this email from a guy trapped in the friend zone. Hi, I have a problem regarding the friend zone. I have this girl who I'm really falling in love with. We've known each other for about a year and have had the same best friends whom we hang out with a lot for the last 6 months. She and I have many little things we joke about, flirting, etc., and especially last month, but I cannot figure out if she's interested or just being a friend. And because we're so close and we have the same friends, it would be embarrassing to ask her out or something if she wouldn't go. We never do anything alone though, it's just with our friends. The last time we were out, we danced kind of sexy, and if he had been any other girl, we would have been making out a long time ago. But since I'm falling in love with her, I don't dare go in for the kiss in case I blow it. I even slept in her bed that night. There were 5 other friends in the room next door though, so nothing happened. Should I ask her out, try to get her alone, or how? Do it for a drink, a dinner, what? I'm going to read his thing. Like, to read this is like simp. We'd call it simp behavior now, but at the time they didn't have a name for it. They just call it, what are you doing, dude? Notice this. Opportunities persisted. Hey, they were alone in a bedroom with the friends outside, but he was so afraid of waking anybody else, he didn't make a move. It's like, dude, there is only 2 situations where you're going to be alone with a girl in a bed. 1, she sees you with such lack of sexuality that you're like a roommate. Or 2, make a move, butto. Or bucko. I don't know how much bigger a signal a girl can give, short of being buck naked, walking up to you and giving like a Degeneration X signal right there. But that's the problem too. And then he says he's falling in love with her, but what is he falling in love with? It's just friendship. All non-sexual behaviors, and he's acting like they're falling in love. He's not falling in love. He's just getting enamored with his own fantasy. And she's going to do nothing but disappoint his fantasy because she has nothing to do with any of it. This is why we tell guys to escalate right away, because the answer of, does she want to smash or not? He could have sorted that out 12 months ago. But because he was not just busting a move, which is such a boomer reference, by the way, he ends up sitting in this hell with such desperation that he's willing to ask a random stranger on the internet writing a book. And then Athol comes in here. Dude, everybody knows you're into her. You know, your friends know, she knows. It's no secret to anybody. She's just waiting for you to make a move. Your friends all cleared out and slept in the living room, and you left her alone in the same bed and nothing happens. All you have to do is something. If she's into you, she'll jump at the chance. Just decide on a place. Oh, have a date. Don't do a date. That's old advice. Ask to hang. Do things and bring her there. Very low committal. Dates are the best way to get a girl to flake on you. Plus, you haven't smashed yet. Why are you rewarding a girl with a meal? Dates are flat out. I don't have very many hard and fast rules, but date is a reward for good behavior. It's not an interview to get in on that. I'll tell you right now. So you can just as easily stumble into a friend zone relationship with your wife by a simple lack of activity. The solution is to become more active and bust a move or 2 on her. Most women respond to the advances of men, so ultimately the person that traps you in the friend zone is you. And this is one of those ones that's kind of funny when you see guys see, like we talked about the 3 types of drunken captains. This falls squarely in the drunk captain with the second officer having to begrudgingly take charge. Start cavemaning your girl. A lot of guys notice, oh wow, this sexual dead bedroom, me expecting her to take the lead sexually is the whole reason it's there, because girls would rather be sexually dissatisfied for forever than make a move. They're just not hardwired for it. They don't find it attractive. Asking your girl to make a move on you is like asking you to just sit there and take a punch in a fight. Like every fiber of your being is like, no, don't get hit. We don't like it. And that's exactly the same thing here that these guys are doing. Switching gears here. I like those guys. Some of the recommendations of the chat, pretty awesome, by the way. Okay, so changing gears here is playing with women all the time. So you may only be trying to sleep with your wife, but all women can enjoy playful interactions with you. You don't have to get into heavy flirting and secret lunches to do this. Just keep it playful and flirtatious with all the women you meet. Most men learning game say not only does their wife react better to them, so do all the women they meet and work with. Now there's a marked difference to walk through your front door knowing you've had 4 or 5 women earlier that day laughing and smiling at you. Somehow, it's all internalized that your wife will pick up on you being confident and happy and she'll like it. Okay, this is catch and release. I talk about this often, where a lot of these guys, and it's mostly like that trad mindset, which I'd argue they actually aren't trad. It's just a coping strategy where, oh, I'm married now. I can't flirt with other women. And they say that like they just throw it out to the first guy that makes them laugh. It's amazing. So we can, as guys, understand that both, there are so many pitfalls, so many ways you can screw up sleeping with a girl, between like the anti-slut defense, between screwing up the opener, screwing up interactions, saying something cringy, making a girl feel bad, being judgmental. There's so many decision gates that you can do to screw up sleeping with a girl that we've designed systems, pickup systems, literal 7 hours of content. Here is how you behave in a 7-hour window to be able to smash girls. If it was not easy to sabotage your chances to smash, that wouldn't need to exist. So all these guys talking about I'm afraid to flirt with girls now that I'm married are suggesting that somehow they're above it all. It's like, get over yourself, dude. You're not saying this because you're worried, if I go to the gym once, I'll be a swole beefcake. No, you're saying it because you're afraid that those other girls who aren't invested in your provision or invested in your commitment just will crush your ego because they don't care. So yeah, flirt all the time. And you know what? You take it as far as you're willing to take it. If you're the kind of guy, a girl offers her phone number, play out the no, sorry, I'm married. Maybe it's as far as a girl gives you her keys and says, meet me in 10 minutes. Maybe you're one of those guys that decides to, you're leaving the relationship anyway, so you're going to have some fun on the sly. Maybe you're doing the French thing where it's like you have mistresses on the side. As long as they don't interact with your real life, it's fine. I'm not here to judge. I'm just here to say you've made the decision in your life how far you're willing to take things. All you have to do is just stop it at an interaction. God knows guys have been sabotaging their love lives for hundreds of years. Heaven forbid you do it on purpose once. Maybe you don't trust your judgment. Well, if I get that far, I can't control myself. And at what point I'm thinking, stop acting like a chick. Only chicks think like things just happened. You're a guy. Like, if you've made it this far and you think things are just going to happen because you want them to, then I don't know what to tell you. Go back. Go watch one of the other PowerPoint MGTOW channels because they got a whole bunch of that. Practice asking women out. Again, next thing, part of the catch and release, practicing game. Generally, you want to practice game, by the way, on people with your wife at first. And when that doesn't work, you kind of practice with other women to see a sober second opinion. Is it just I suck at game, or is it I suck at game with her? Now, he mentions a very, very simple mystery method for this. Practice asking women out. It's fairly harmless and good practice. Just don't let you get be hooked into someone emotionally. So don't be that idiot with the friend zone. So in talking to women and getting them to go for lunch or coffee, there's 3 basic elements to your verbal interaction. False time constraint, playfully deny interest, and don't offer to pay. That's basically it. That's how a standard catch and release program goes. Hey, I've only got 30 minutes for lunch here. I'm grabbing a sandwich over at Starbucks. You should come join. Again, it's not a question. They can always deny, but more often than not, if a girl's bored, has nothing else to do, bring them on the date. If you got a good game, they'll come anyway. Playfully deny interest. Now if we have lunch, you got to promise not to hit on me. Or his favorite, I'm trying to cut down to 2 girlfriends and my wife. Again, it's playful, plausible deniability, cuts through the tension, lets you know it's just, all right, this is a platonic thing. We're going to be flirtatious. And honestly, most guys at work would do well with this because so many girls at work very sexually dissatisfied with their husbands or their divorced husbands or their plans for Tinder, whatever. So many guys notice the office flirt is a huge tease for them. Now, this is essentially you becoming the office flirt. And all these girls are going to love the validation, the no strings attached. Oh, no sex here? No tension for that? Yeah, sure, we'll go do lunch and we'll flirt. This is where the idea of office wives and office husbands come from. You're just making it work for you. You're just practicing. Yeah, you're not going to get anywhere with it. But again, catch and release. You're not trying to bring a fish home to cook. You're just trying to see if you can still catch fish. It's not as good as the real thing, but if you're one of those guys that wants to stick with your girl and not cheat on her, well, you just got to do what you got to do. Don't offer to pay for lunch. This one's good because this keeps the anti-slut defense for kicking in. As soon as you offer to pay for her meal, a girl will start either freaking out, backing off, flaking, or looking at what sexual favor equates to what item on the menu. And he jokes here saying the Caesar salad is the standard hand job meal. The lobster is you have to go all the way. Again, this is another reason that I don't think guys should go on dates. Because right here, you're setting up all these weird covert contracts. And I'm like, look, and if you get the girl that starts kind of getting cringy because you have extra money or you have a free sandwich or like, here, have the sandwich. It's like, look, just eat the damn thing. Like, I'm not in it for you. To get over yourself. Again, playfully deny interest. I'm not trying to have sex with you. I'm trying to eat this sandwich in peace. And I got five. It's $5 for two. Eat the damn sandwich. Here's a nice one, though. So I think this is going to be closer to the end. Ask a man going his own way. And this is like the original MGTOW. Bullet, MGHOW. So men going his own way. I'm going for coffee. You coming? And that's literally, you're doing your own thing. And you're inviting them along. And you're going to go do it anyway. Now, I'm going to preface this because I've seen it in the field. It kind of goes back and forth here. So, inviting a girl, whether you're doing catch and release, whether you're doing a normal date, onto something you're already doing, have it as something you're actually already doing. Because what a lot of guys do is they think they're going to invite a girl for dinner. Hey, I'm going to this restaurant. You coming with? And they'll say no because they don't want to have dinner because we talked about before. As soon as you pay for a meal, the Caesar salad, a hand job, you know what? I'd rather just not eat. And then what you do is you come back going, well, you know what? She said no, I was going to go do it anyway. It's like, dude, no, you weren't. No, you weren't. Going to do something anyway is literally something you were going to do before you even asked. So you got to make sure. Don't lie to yourself. Keep it in your head. Which is which? And then don't care what women think of you. Just mess with them a bit. The more you care about what women think of you, the less you think of them, or the less they think of you as a romantic partner. Now, I could go into this. He's just going to give a couple examples, but God knows, you guys should know by now. To be aware, like things that you do that are either attractive or unattractive, you're generally aware of the response that they give, but individual interactions, you do not care about. Complete outcome independence. Again, he gives a bunch of realizing stories in here. They're really nice. I would really suggest you give it a read. Next part here is bedtime is make sexy time, yes. The transition between the living room into the bedroom at bedtime is a key moment in the day. You should own that moment and frame yourself as dominant. I have several moves I use here and mix them up from night to night. I don't know, like this. I don't like this because it sets it up for failure. Most of the time, a lot of guys, by the time they get to bedtime, everybody's tired, everybody's beat, can't really do it. If you want to smash, start doing it right after work, as soon as you walk through the door. Start setting up daytimes. It also makes it very hard with, if you have to practice outcome independence, if you're doing it just before bedtime, all you're going to be able to do is sit there and sulk and then sneak off to the bathroom and go rub one out. So I don't like this either. Don't make sexy time contingent on bedtime. You should really just kind of open up whatever time works for you. So read it if you want to. It's 18:6. But like he says, just don't care what she thinks. So instead of telling yourself, I don't care what you think, act like it. Act like it. Find some stolen time together. See, this is the thing I get more behind. Again, stolen time. You're working from home, quickie at lunch. Maybe you sneak over, make out with a girl a little bit, going off to Starbucks for your lunchtime dates, that kind of thing. Again, just time where time can exist. You'll probably get some token resistant, but that's fine. I mean, how much time do you really need? And you know what? If you're one of those guys that can't last a long time anyway, just call it a quickie. Now it's not that you can't keep it up for 10 minutes. Now it's just, oh, that was a quickie. It's supposed to be 3 minutes and then back to your day. Oh, thank God for that. For a second there, I thought you needed some little pills. People with kids, though, that's going to be very important over the years. Because a lot of the time with the kids, it's just impossible to do that. So work around it. Anyways, so that's it for this one. That's all the tips, tricks, and strategies, and a lot of stuff to get you started, to get you within the mindset where you test sexually dominant and sexually comfortable things in your life to see which ones work and which ones don't. And then hopefully you're going to carve out a decent set of strategies, games that you can play with your girl that tend to work well and on other girls. So at the very least, if your girl goes frigid, your girl goes cold, you know you can replace her. And that pre-selection's a powerful attractor. So you'll notice a lot of women aren't stupid. Once they see it, they're like, yeah. This guy's wanted by everybody. I would hate to lose him to a girl hotter than me. And so they tend to act better. But if not, you don't care. You can replace her. Next chapters are going to be tomorrow, and that's going to be on different sets of behaviors. And I'm going to go over a little bit on the dangers of chore play and a better way around it. So you're going to enjoy that anyways. Thanks for sticking around, guys. Hope you enjoyed yourself. Let's call this one now. And I'll catch you on the next one. Pling pling. Look at you guys. So I like it. You're all switched on already. You're already tapping into Devi, Sex God Method. That's another good book, by the way. It's Daniel Rose. A lot of guys swear by it. It's not on my top list, but whatever. It works. Who cares?